Hey, thanks for stopping in. Today we got a few main lines to open up here, and if you want to stick around, we'll take a closer look at these. All right, let's pull these out. I have 7 in total here to open today. Okay, so they are main lines, but they're some of the better castings that stuff that I enjoy, especially the J stuff. I tend to collect that stuff. I have a fair amount of them already from previous videos I've opened up. All right, so we'll get started with this bright green Ford Escort RS 2000. So you guys have probably seen a lot of these main lines kicking around. They're not exactly new cases that they're giving us in the dump bins and on the pegs lately at our Walmart and stuff, but we just uh, we just make do with what we can find generally, I guess, right? All right, so nice and bright and fancy. They could have put some livery on here a little bit or something. I mean, they gave us some headlights at least, so that's not all bad. If you can see inside that windshield there, it is a right-hand drive. Little openings, a little hard to see. I understand. I guess if we were buying the convertibles, then we could see better what they're putting in there. Little RS 2000X on the tail, on the license plate rather. I can see a roll cage on the inside. Didn't put like a roof scoop or nothing on this one, but this might be a little hard to read the bottom of this one, but we'll try. All right, so that's the first one. Okay, next up, got this amazing Toyota van, 1986 Toyota van. I used to work at an auction a long time ago, and we had these Toyotas come through, but they were the Toyota Le Van. They were left-hand drives. This one's being JDM will be a right-hand drive, but they were little manual transmissions. They had no power, of course, but they were neat. These ones are possibly about the same. Maybe the JDM quality was a little bit better than what we get here in North America. All right, so really beautiful graphics on there. Really dates this thing back to the 80s for sure. Windshield's a little on the scuffed up side. Not sure how they get like that sometimes, but because it didn't look like the packaging could have really reached the windshield from where the front bumper is or the roof is, but so it must have happened either as it was getting packaged. So that does have some tail lights. And I do make mention of the tail lights a lot. I know in every video, it's for one, it's kind of important to me to see more detail on these cars, and two, I notice that the Matchbox tends to have better detail than the Hot Wheels. So especially if I see it on a Hot Wheels product, I try to make notice of it. And we'll see if we can get into this bottom here a little bit. Okay, well that's the grocery getter drift style. We'll stick with a J theme here. We'll open the next J series. HWJ Imports 91 Mazda MX-5 Miata. They definitely have a few variations of these Miatas out. I guess the Miata's been pretty hot topic for the last several years now. But I remember in the 90s when they were out, they weren't really that hot topic. People kind of questioned your masculine side if you were driving a Miata back in the 90s. All right, so, but this one's got cool graphics on it, so no questioning masculinity. So again, does have the painted tail lights or stickers, whichever they might be here. Little tiny Hot Wheels license plate. little front marker lights. Headlights are closed. Okay, and I was just talking about convertibles, so as you can see a little bit in there, but there's virtually no detail. Looks like the plastic mold machine kind of just threw up in the inside, and everything's kind of blotchy and blocky and goopy in there, but it's all good. Again, it's not a premium, so what do we expect, right? Alright, so a little MX-5. What else we got here? Alright, color variation of a 92 BMW M3. I think I had this one in a different color, possibly a red one. Would have opened it several videos back. This one, Hot Wheels, the 90s. Alright, let's just tear it open and have a look at this. It's kind of like a metallic cream color. Interesting color. In my lights here, it is slightly metallic if the camera's picking that up for you. But at least they have decent decals on the side. I like when they add the blue, red, and black on there for BMW. Has a little BMW logo on the hood there. Tires actually spin pretty fast on this. And then no painted taillights, but it does have the little exhaust sticking out, little dual exhaust. And then for the bottom, all right. So moving on. Up here, an 82 Toyota Supra. Now, like 15 videos ago or something, it's possible I might have opened one of these. I'd have to go back and look at my stash or the videos, but for the sake of this video, it's $2. We're just going to open it and take another look, just in case I missed something the first time. But the 80s Supras were pretty cool back in the day, especially if you had the manual turbo. I'm sure they had their issues just like any cars, but in the 80s they were definitely the cool cars when I saw them driving around. And I was only born in 79, so I mean I was pretty young in the 80s, so I'm talking late 80s, of course, right? But it's got the one lazy headlight that didn't want to close, kind of almost reminiscent of most real cars that had the pop-up lights. Half the time they worked, the other half they got stuck up or down. Okay, they graced us with some tampos on the back there. So that was very kind of them. I think also when they're a little bit more of a sought-after model, they'll put the tampos, they'll put the extra mile in the casting department. So it's kind of nice here. It's got some louvers on the back windows and side windows. And then for the bottom, see if we can get in here on this. Okay, all right. So one more J series. Could have opened it with the other J car. Alright, so Nissan Maxima drift car, in case I didn't read that. I was too busy looking at the car. Alright, well this one's extremely fancy, and it's probably going to have a lot of glare from my lights, but you can see that amazing engine in there. And then the interior, it's all chrome, even the seats, everything's chrome. There was a sale on chrome that day, and that guy just went all out. Well, I can read half of that writing. So Nissan, and the rest, well, you tell me in the comments what it says. I don't know if that's upside down or the right way. Again, if I can't read the Japanese writing there, I can't be sure actually. But the bottom, we can read. And then finally, for the last car of this video today, I have the VTEC Civic. Again, I may have opened this in several videos back, but for this one here, there's a different purpose. If you watch previous videos, you remember my hefty list of real-life cars that I've owned in the past. There's about 60 of them, including some motorcycles. And as I find some little 164 diecast replicas or something that's closely resonates with what I used to have, I pick them up and I check them off my list, and I just add them to that little collection. And one day I'll probably make some kind of a shelf or something that they all fit onto, and maybe put little labels of each one, and it'll just be my reminiscence board pretty much. I can look at it, I can be like, oh yeah, I remember that one. That was the one where the radiator was always leaking, or that was the one that wouldn't start because the carb was all clogged, or whatever. I got stories for virtually every car I've owned because they've all been beaters up until present time. Okay, so anyway, so down here there's a 91 Civic Blue, and this one's a 1990 Civic. Now mine didn't say VTEC on the side, but mine was blue, and this is a very close representation to it, so for that it gets the check mark. Alright, so I don't find these cars on this list very often. Like, I mean, when am I ever going to find an 86 Tempo or a 90 Tempo or a 92 Astro or an 88 Sentra? You know, like, I got a lot of junk on here. How am I supposed to find some of this stuff? But if I do, I will buy it and I'll open it and I'll show it and I'll mark it off my list. And there was some fun vehicles in here, but maybe we'll talk about those stories when I find them. Alright, so we'll just quickly tear into this anyway. I'm sure you guys have all seen this casting everywhere by now. It doesn't stick around too often on the shelves. I think it's got a little bit of bartering power out there in the trading world, so people pick them up and trade them off for different things. But it's got the headlights going on, it's got the little VTEC on the side. No tail lights, but it does have a fat little exhaust pipe sticking out the back. And then on the bottom, okay, so that wraps up today's video, and I do appreciate you stopping in, and you guys have a great day. Happy hunting out there, and I hope you find some great stuff, and I will catch you on the next video. Alright, take care. Bye.